Hi guys, Nishant here. In this tutorial, I'll teach you about different kinds of loop in PHP. Often when you write a code, you want the same block of code to run over and over again in a row. Instead of adding several lines of code in a script, we can use loops to perform a task like this. In PHP, we have 4 looping statements: while, do while, for and for each. Now let's take a look at some practical example. So open XAMPP control panel and start Apache and MySQL as I did. Now open your text editor. Here I am using Sublime Text. I have already saved the program as loops.php. So now let's start. So now we'll start with writing PHP opening and closing tag. So we'll take a look at while loop. So what is while loop? While loop executes a block of code as long as the specified condition is true. So we'll first declare two variables, x and y. The value of x would be 10. The value of y is 5. I'm using h2 tag so you guys can have better understanding. Now we'll start with while loop. This is the syntax of while loop. Here we have to specify the variable. We are using variable x. Here we have to specify the number. The number is 15. In this blank space we are going to write our code. So here we are going to declare a variable total. Total will sum up x and y. $x plus $y semicolon. I am writing echo to print out the total of $x and $y is $total using br tag for spacing. I'm also going to increment the value of $x. So this is how while loops look like. So what this will do is it will increment x until it reaches 15. It will add each incremented value of x with y until x reaches 15. So let's save it. Oops, I forgot to write while here. Okay, so let's save it. Open your web browser, localhost, folder name is tutorial / file name is loops.php. So this is the result we got. So here for each incremented value of x, addition will take place and we get this result. So now we are going to take a look at do while. So for that we are going to do the same thing, opening and closing bracket of PHP. So what is do while? Do while will always execute the block of code once. It will then check the condition and repeat the loop while specified condition is true. The main difference between while and do while is the execution of the program will take place once, even if the condition does not matches. So let's take a look. Here I am going to declare two variable again, x and y with the same value. So I am just going to copy the first 3 sentences. So the value of x here is 10, the value of y here is 5, and I am using here again h2 tag for defining a do while. So now we are going to define do while loop here. So here we are going to write variable total, which will sum up variable x and y. and here I'm going to print this same function again. So echo the total of $x and y is $total, and I'm again going to increment the value of x, and here we are going to specify $x and the value of the number is 15. So this is our do while loop. So let's save it. So what will happen here is addition will take place first here because we have specified it earlier, and it will continue to take place till x reaches 15, and after that it will stop. So let's save it and open web browser and refresh it. So the result of while and do while is same, but the only difference is the do while loop will execute the block of code once, even if the condition does not matches. So now let's take a look at for loop. So for that we need to do the same thing. We are going to start and close the PHP tag again. So what is for loop? For loop is used when you know in advance how many times the script should run. So let's take a look at how it works. So this is the syntax of for loop. This is the init, just a sec. This here is the init counter. This here is the test counter, and this here is the increment counter. So what init counter does is initialize the loop counter value. What the test counter does is evaluate for each loop iteration. If it evaluates to true, the loop continues. If it evaluates to false, the loop ends. What increment counter does, it increases the loop counter value. So now let's take a look. I'm going to declare a variable above the for loop first, $y, and its value is 5. So now again I'm going to use echo h2 tag and closing h2 tag for loop semicolon. So now here we are going to specify our variable that we are using. We are going to use here variable x. So $x value is 10 and is less than or equal to 15, incrementing the value of x, and here in this space we are going to write our code. So in this space we are going to declare a variable total that will sum up x and y. We are going to use echo to print the same function. So let's just copy it. Okay, so that's all for loop. So let's just save it and view our result. So this is the result for loop. So what happens here is for x equal to 10 until the value of x reaches 15, it will be incremented first. The addition will take place for all the incremented value of x here. So that is for loop. So now let's take a look at for each loop. So for that we need to first define our PHP tag, starting and ending PHP tag. So what is for each loop? For each loop works only on arrays and is used to loop through each key or value pair in an array. So first we are going to define $x and its value is an array. So array, here we are going to define different value. So first 10, and each value in the array is separated by comma. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and it goes till 15, semicolon. Now declaring variable y, its value is 5, semicolon. Again using h2 tag, closing it, for each loop, semicolon. Now we are going to declare our for each loop. So for each, here we are going to write variable, here we are going to write key, and this is the value we are going to specify. So here our variable is x. Here we don't have to write any key because our example does not fit into one. So x as a value. In this space we are going to write our code. So first we are going to define a variable called total, which will sum up x and y, but the value of x here is $value, so we are going to write $value plus $y, semicolon, echo. We are going to print the same thing, but instead of $x we are going to use $value. The total of $value and $y is $total, using BR for spacing. Now saving it. So what happens here, for every iteration the value of the current array element is assigned to $value, and the array pointer is moved by 1 until it reaches the last array element. Here loop will consider each element present in this array as different value of x, and for each of this value addition will take place. So now let's save it and let's view its result. So this is the result we got. So as mentioned earlier, for here loop will consider each element present in the array as different value of x, and for each of this value addition will take place. So in this tutorial, friends, we have studied different loops in PHP. We have studied while, do while, for and for each. Thank you for watching this tutorial.